Hello and welcome to the Vox Box. My name is Marcia Alverson and I'm a professional singer, songwriter, vocal coach, and I'm excited to bring to you the tips, tricks, tools that I've gained through the years of being on the stage, performing, and helping others do the same. As we begin the series of lessons, we're going to explore what your voice is made of. How do you become a confident singer? As well as the mechanics of your voice. And the main goal is to first explore and discover your own voice. With each lesson in the Vox Box, we're going to actually consult the Vox Box. You want to see it? Looky there. I'm just so proud of that drawing. Yeah, that's really special. Anyway, we're going to look in the box to discover a clue of something that will help us with our lesson each day. So for this very first lesson, we have a clue in here. You ready to find out what it is? All right, and we come up with this. Look at that. Huh. It's a mirror. Now, what in the world do I need a mirror for? Now, a mirror can only reflect what it sees, what it beholds. We can say the mirror is unforgiving, and that's because it can only show us what's already there. A mirror is a reflection of what we truly think or believe or perceive about ourselves. And that's something that I want you to pay attention to as we begin to talk about the different things that help us understand where our voice comes from. It truly is from a place of inward reflection. As we look into the question, where does our voice come from? There's 3 C's that I want you to remember today. That's confidence, courage, and commitment. Now, that might sound a little different than maybe what you're expecting to hear, but these are very foundational things to instill in you as a singer. Oh, confidence, where does that come from? Does it come from people telling you you're awesome? That can help. Does it come from tons of experience and just getting comfortable on the stage? That definitely helps. Does it come from your mama? It always comes from your mama. Now, those things are great, but I think we should dig a little deeper and find out where confidence really comes from. So, we will begin by searching the wisest of all, the dictionary. Now, let us take a look at the definition of confidence. It is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. Now, that's very interesting because it doesn't come from anything external. It only comes from things internal. Now that we've looked at the definition of confidence, we can see clearly that it isn't about what others think and the external things that affect our perception of ourselves. It really does come from our own understanding, our own perception of ourselves. And that's really important going forward to realize and to set that foundation, because if you're going to be a performer long term, you're going to have people praise you, you're going to have people reject you. They will have opinions about your performance, and you're going to have to be okay with that. Yet, we all want to keep growing in our gift. We all want to keep expanding our abilities and staying excited about what we're doing on the stage. And that is all possible, but we have to learn how to stand in confidence. I think it's really important that we remember and know that confidence is not the same as pride. Pride is a self-sufficiency that says, look at me, I'm awesome, I don't care what you think. And it's not a teachable spirit. But confidence says, I have a story to tell. What I'm doing is important, so I want to do it and bring my best. But I'm teachable, I'm humble, and I want to keep growing so that my story is always relevant. If you can keep those two things separate and be humble enough to keep growing in your gift, there will be a long-term place for you on the stage, because God's always looking for faithful vessels that will tell his story. Fun fact, did you know that singing is about 70% confidence? Wow, that is a lot of percentage going into confidence. About 30% of it is the skill and the talent and memorization and actual performance. But confidence is truly what brings out that performance. It's truly what causes your message to shine, causes your voice to shine. The second C we want to talk today about is courage. Why do I want to talk about courage? It's similar to confidence, but I want to say this. Courage is a decision. It is a choice. When someone's being courageous, it's not because it's an emotion that overtakes them. It is because they have decided to face their fears. They've decided to take steps forward into the unknown and embrace it for what will be the outcome. And that is courage. And as you start to explore your voice, as you learn where your voice comes from, I'm asking you to be courageous. I'm asking you to be vulnerable in this process so that you can discover truly how your voice is supposed to be. You can't fully know that until you're willing to get comfortable with the process. The third and final C is commitment. And what I mean by that is commitment to the process. Now, we've mentioned it takes confidence and it takes courage, but there really is a process. If you intend to grow your voice, you're not just going to gain information. That's great. Peace out. I'm going to go do with it what I want. You're going to need to be vulnerable to committing to the process of growing your voice. If you're willing to commit to that process, then you'll discover that you can grow super fast. You'll discover that you're going to grow in areas that you didn't even know that you were going to grow in. Congratulations, you have come through part 1 of this lesson. Now I want to dig a little deeper. And part 2 is going to be about this question. What are you afraid of? Now, that is a very big question. Some of you might need to sit in a therapy chair and talk for hours about things you're afraid of and why you're afraid of them. And I understand. We all have those things in our life that feed the beast of fear. But the more that we can expect to hit fears, the more that we can anticipate those fears ahead of time, the more that we understand what opens the door in ourselves to that, the more that we're able to address it and keep control over fear. Fear is an emotion. And even though it can strike us when we least expect it, especially while we're on the stage, we have power over that. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but he's given us a spirit of power, of love, and a sound mind. So standing on that scripture alone can shut the door to fear. But I want to talk about a few reasons that I hear from people, from students. What are you afraid of? First one I hear for sure is a fear of failure. No one likes to fail. But the truth about failure is that it's a stepping stone toward our success. We push the boundaries when we discover places of failure in our lives. When we get to that place that we fail, if we choose to give up, then we do fail. But if we choose to pick up and move forward and do better, we just don't give up. And therefore, we cannot truly fail. Ultimately, we will not fail if we keep going. So I want to encourage you today, as you're growing your voice, just don't give up. When you get on that stage and you have embarrassing moments, or you realize you just didn't bring the best this time, don't become discouraged. Get back up. As best as you can, analyze maybe what went wrong. Try to do better the next time, but never give up. These are the things that the author of Fear wants you to believe so that you will stop. And when you understand that fear opens the door to so many other things, you will quickly learn that closing the door and focusing on your task and being confident in what you do and what you know and telling your story, these are the things to keep your mind set on. Keep your mind set on the things above, not on the things below. And it will really empower you to deliver such a strong message that totally conquers those fears and allows your voice to be heard. The second fear that I hear a lot from students is the fear of being criticized. Now, I've got news for you. If you're on the stage, you will be criticized. That's just part of it. You will also be praised. There will be people that will be so excited for you, so excited to hear what you have to say. And then there will be those that aren't as excited. Now, people have opinions. I have an opinion. You have an opinion. And so it's okay. You don't have to be upset by people's opinions. Sometimes we wish they would keep it to themselves. But the main thing that you need to do as a performer is to learn to surround yourself by those that you trust. Trusted voices in your life. Your teachers, your mentors, people that you know will tell you the truth, but they're really for you. They're for your growth. They're committed to your success. These are the people that you listen to. And when you hear criticism, take it with a grain of salt. Realize that people might not see the same thing that you see in your target of becoming what you want to become, of the sound that you're after. Because the truth is, if you're committed to the process of growing, you remember that you're not perfect. And what people hear may hear some flaws, or it may just be a style difference, but either way, you are committed to growing and to being the best version of you as possible. But that humility cloaks us, and it takes away the sting of criticism to where we realize we're always in a place of growing. We're always in a place of submitting ourselves to a process of telling the story, getting the story out, and letting people receive from it what they can. The third fear that I hear quite a bit is the fear of comparison. Now, this is a real thing for people on the stage because a lot of times we have to do tryouts, we have to present our best, but then we're compared to others to be able to get that role. And there is nothing wrong with auditions. First thing I want to say is a lot of times with positions on the stage, in a band, on a vocal team, there's something specific. There's a specific set of criteria that people are looking for when you go into your audition. And so it is so important to understand you can bring your very best, but if it's not what they're looking for, you may not be the right fit. The flip side of that is you don't want to be a part of something that you are not contributing to, right? So as you continue to grow your voice, bring your best forward, do your best auditioning, but remember that this is not about comparison. If you want to compare yourself to someone, compare your current self to your future self. Now let me say that again. Healthy comparison comes from comparing your current self with your future self. Your future self will be better than your current self. Your future self is in motion of going forward, and your current self can be challenged by that motion. How can I make a better me? The more that you're distracted by what someone else is doing, how someone else is succeeding, their success story, how maybe they got opportunities you didn't, maybe they're advancing faster than you're advancing. All of these things do not make us a better singer. In fact, they hinder our ability to grow. so that we don't become a better singer. So learn to compete with yourself. If you're a competitive person by nature, I love competing. I was actually involved in sports when I was younger. I coached basketball. I understand competition. I love succeeding. I love winning. I love a challenge, and I love overcoming that challenge. But I had to learn to stay in the game by remembering that it's not about competing with everybody else. It's competing with myself. My favorite quote of all time is, "You might as well be yourself because everyone else is taken." I hope you really latch onto that. God has designed you to be uniquely you. If you try too hard to be like someone else, you will never discover the real you. And that's really where we come into a place of freedom, of true confidence, a place that also allows others to experience that freedom and that confidence, because you've successfully learned how to release the gift, that instrument that's inside of you, and it's really shining when you allow it to. Do you like the sound of your own voice? We've got to learn how to love our own voice. It doesn't mean that you think you're the best, most awesomest singer there ever was that walked planet Earth, but it does mean that you believe in yourself enough to invest in the sound that is supposed to be your sound that no one else can have. So I want to commend you today through getting through this lesson. I hope that you were confronted by thoughts that you've never thought about of where your voice actually comes from. Because we have to set that foundation, and we have to be bold in this process of voice development. And we have to be vulnerable so that we can truly grow. I'm so excited that you have joined in, and so I look forward to meeting with you next time for lesson 2. How is your voice made? Until next time.